Hello, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg. It's coming to you the Homestead Update from the high desert of Arizona. We've just had the most rain I've seen here since 2023. This is our monsoon season. See, we've got some good looking clouds up here and a tiny little new moon. But my friends, I got to tell you this. For all this monsoon season, I have now had my water collection system set up off that roof. And this is the month we're supposed to get the most rain, and we didn't get hardly anything until just a couple of days ago here. I mean, it rained one other time a little bit, and then really rained good the last couple of days. Now, I got to say this. I got a lot of work to do, including painting this place, but I did get the water system collection set up. It's been set up for a month here and during this big monsoon season. I've seen all these other desert preppers collecting all kinds of water, and I painted this thing black so that moisture, wouldn't get algae inside. And then so this thing wouldn't get too hot, I've been painting it a kind of a light color tan to reflect sunlight. I didn't want it white. It was just too garish. So the good news is I've collected so much water over this past month that it comes about here in the tank, right here down in the bottom. That's, maybe 50 gallons. I don't know. That's not a lot of water. I still got to finish painting this tank. Now the town closest to me has an annual rainfall, supposedly of 12 point some odd inches. And I calculated it on the surface area of this roof, what that would mean. And that was, almost 1,900 gallons per year. Now, what I've come to realize is I've seen it rain a whole lot there when it wasn't raining at all here. They get more rain than I get. They also have green grass growing, but I thought that just because they were in a low area. So the answer to that is I get a whole lot less rain out here. So this, I probably won't have to collect water off my solar panel and feed it off here and some other places too, because it's just, it's going to be hard pressed to give me the water I need. I do have a water tank over here I have water hauled into, and I may get some hauled water put in this just for contingency. I got a couple little water tanks over there. This is what I started my kitchen from. I do have water. This is still a Sanford & Son operation. I still have a lot of stuff piled up. It's very much a construction zone here. You can see we're still working on the plumbing and piping. And we got to wait till it dries out a little bit to finish up this cross network of pipes, which includes a means that I can get water to the garden from this tank, which I don't think is going to be that clean, and shut it off where it won't back up into this water, which goes to my house. But right now I'm taking water out of this and going over. So I got a bunch of valves and stuff in there to accomplish that. And I put in some ponds, and I got 3 ponds on this little wash behind my garden, which I thought would be a great area to try to collect some water. And so far, they have only managed to collect some puddles. For all this rain, all I got is just a few little puddles here. There you go. See, that is somewhat less than absolutely impressive, right? So I got 3 little ponds here, and about the same. This one probably got the most because it's the most upstream one. You can see I got a channel carved out up in here where I plan to run some more water line, because I'll have some garden areas up here and back on top of that hill. And that's going to be a challenge. That hill is almost as tall as that tank. See, I do have a pressure pump over there to pressurize the water to get it up high, but I have to crank it up every time I need it. I don't need it around my house. I got a separate pump in the house. And you can see I've got my garden enclosed now to keep rats out, cows out. It don't work for birds yet. That's coming, hopefully. At least in sections, because birds did more damage than anything. I've got some things growing. Now I did not get this land plowed, disc, and tilled until well up in June. And by then it was already 99 degrees and stuff did not want to grow. In fact, here's the funny thing. Let me show you this. I planted a watermelon in here months ago, and you can see it's just sprouted. There's some, and over there's a little bit right there, and right there. This was meant to be a loon, a half moon, about 5 foot in diameter, And the water did wash through and break my dam right there, my loon dam. But you can see the watermelon plants here and here starting to grow. Well, they're not going to be able to make no fruit now, because it's just a matter of a very few weeks until frost. Frost could come as early as 2nd of October, which is less than 2 weeks away now. But it's more likely filthing on. I might be lucky, and it may not frost until maybe a week before November. Now I got some squash growing here. I got a bunch of spaghetti squash. I hope it will mature before it's too late. I think I got one butternut squash over. It looks like it's about ready. Bunch more spaghetti squash here. Corn, mixed results. I got one good stalk growing tall over here, fairly tall. Yeah, this has been a challenging situation. I just staked out my beans here because I didn't have, the corn didn't make it. The corn didn't make it because birdies came in here and ate it up. I've had to replant this whole thing about 5 times. Those birds just kept coming in here and eating everything as soon as the seed popped up. And they were really going for the roots and going for the water, I reckon. Anyway, so I'm starting to stake these out. I did not coil these runners around these poles yet. As I always heard, if you handle beans when they're wet, they'll rust. So I'm waiting on that. You can see I'm going to have some squash here and some little pumpkins. Walk around. That's supposed to be the high area instead of the bed. So I still got a lot of work to do in adjustment and layout of these beds. Got a little pumpkin right here. I don't not know. Look here. I got a corn plant just popped up. I got another squash or pumpkin just popped up there. You know, it's really too late for them. They got no chance. But they didn't want to sprout until they got cool. Now earlier when it was drier, the birds would have pecked them up. So these, I think I got some little virus. Here, I need to trim these leaves out. I've got a little pumpkin growing down in there. And that may be the only one that's got a real chance of making it, from the pumpkins. For a while I was only getting male flowers, like for weeks on end. Finally they started making female flowers. I don't weed this garden at all, because it needs all the plant life growing in it can get right now. Some beans out here. So that's the garden story. And I'll show you another story. Hang on. So the garden has been a real challenge. Everything out here has been a challenge. This is my first year to try to do high desert gardening. Learned a lot of lessons. Still learning a lot of lessons. I know what I want to do different next year by a long shot. And that is to try to make sunken beds with hugelkulturs in them. The sunken beds to more mimic what the Indians did. And I tried to build up the sides around those so-called raised beds and didn't really want them raised. Just had some problems and issues with when I was doing. There's some old juniper. There's Freddy Cat. Y'all might remember him from walking in the woods with me in Alabama. Him and his brother who just ran away. And there is Smokey the cat. He's not a year old. He won't be a year old until November. But he's bigger than Freddy Cat. He's still growing. There's my little pond there. See that one down there? It's not doing as good even. Now I do have a pond back across the way that's doing really well. See my solar arrays are working. I'm totally solar. I'm completely off grid here. I've got satellite link for data communications. But here's my latest project. This is going to be a chicken run. Yes, I'm getting some layer hens Monday, 12 of them. At least that's what they're telling me. And that building on my trailer is going to be their little roost building, nest box building, and we're going to put it right here. So I'll be able to do like Prepper Nurse 1 and give you out egg counts every day maybe. Something like that. We're still running water line. We've done better with it now. We got a faucet here. I want to come back and put one right over here next to the chickens. Maybe run it inside where we put that building. And we got pipe running. You can see a lot further out this way now. The idea is we want to run this pipe where I'm going to be raising worms. And I got some area cleaned out of here for on-ground worm beds, like windrow type. I don't know how that's going to do out here. I'll try one experimentally. But the air dries out stuff so bad, I'm beginning to wonder if I ain't gonna have to bury everything. That's the way I'm leaning right now. Because the dry air just dries stuff out. And you can see, we're getting ready to run water back over here. And this is where I'm gonna have some old sled bed worm beds. Y'all remember those? That was the roofs on the in-ground worm beds I had. I had planned to use those as shed roofs out here. To be more water collection, right? So I got the pipe laid, got a faucet there. I'm really close to having water out here where I can put worms out here. Maybe in a week, a few days, I may be ordering worms and restarting Green Greg's worm farm. I did not plan to sell worms for a while, and I did not ever plan to sell them at the scale I did, because I'd have to hire labor, and my experience with hiring labor is that it cost me a farm. Hiring labor is the most destructive thing I've ever done in my life, except for maybe one ex-girlfriend. Yeah, she was as bad. See Freddy Cat down here? Yep. Has to love up on me. Anyway, so still got some of my barrels out here. I may build a little barn out here, or a little pig pen. I'm thinking pig pen over here. You know, still planning to put my big greenhouse down that way, like I had in Alabama. But with lessons learned from that one. So hopefully I'll do a better job building all that stuff this time. So, a lot of lessons learned. A lot of things done. You can see that trailer behind me with a chicken building on it. I bought one off of a Facebook marketplace, already assembled. 300 bucks. Nothing fancy, but just the time and labor to put one together costs more than that. So it'll work. It's actually got a light fixture and some outlets on it. I don't know about if we'll wire those up or not. But again, here's the other side. This is the entrance to the road. Here are crickets. Crickets and cats. Used to be a lot of rats out here till I got these cats, and there's none. There are no rats. No ground squirrels either. Y'all might remember some of my trucks and buses and vans. There's old Blue. My bug out bus. My 2 bug out vans. 2 of them. I ain't got a bug out anymore. I bugged in. So I can show you on my pond where it gets dark, and hopefully the wolf or a mountain lion don't come up and eat me. I do have pocket nugs in each pocket. But I just see if it's not too muddy to walk over here. I might have footballs on my feet trying to get over this pond. Show you how beautiful. Sunsets out here are beautiful, but at night the clouds are between me and the sun. Yeah, this is really muddy. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do this tonight. I'll show it to you. It's right on the other side here. I'll show it to y'all in the future. It's just too muddy to walk over there. I will be up to my knees in mud. And I already feel it. Had I know, been there, done it. I might can do it from the top up here. As you see, it's down in, it's about 60, but I'm sitting here in this other overshirt. And just walking around a little bit. It's got me quite hot. So, yeah, I get the most beautiful sunsets you can imagine. I think I can get up this hill without kicking up too much mud on my feet, maybe. Check these rocks out. There used to be a heavy Indian, Native American population here. I find pottery shards here and there. A lot of chipped flint. Always chipped. Ooh. Look at that, guys. Got some water in it. Alright, that's most of what I've had in it so far. See how long that lasts. New moon. Old sun. Sun's down. Yeah, that's a lot of water. Now, if that would hold it, not evaporate, I'm told I'll have to let that probably fill up 3 or 4 times, let the silt seal it, and then it'll hold water. Well, that would be enough to last my garden a month maybe. Now I'm planning to put another little garden over here one day, I'm thinking. And I could water that garden largely from this pond. That's the idea. So, a lot of ideas. A lot of ideas here. So, let me show you my hand axe. This is what I'm putting in my pocket. Get this thing in my pocket. Me and the new moon. Ruff, ruff. Hang on. Oh, this thing's stuck in my pocket. Here we go. That is a quartzite hand axe. It's chipped all the way around. My geologist buddy told me he used to make them just like this. It's a blunt, semi-sharp instrument, mainly for pounding. And I use this to pound my bean poles in. And I would venture that since the Indians that lived here, there was a heavy population of Indians, Native Americans here, until about 900 years ago. When Sunset Crater near Flagstaff went off, it was throwing lava bombs all over the place here. I find them everywhere. And the lava bombs, you know, it probably took a lot of them out and scared the heck out of them. They left. So this tool probably has not been used until today for 900 years. Probably the oldest tool I own that's still in use. There might be some arrowheads that's older, but imagine that. I saw some light back over there a minute ago. Yeah, I wouldn't mind some more rain. I could use it for my little ponds. Put more water in my water tank. I'm gonna have to set up more water collection area to make sure I can fulfill my water needs. Personally, I can get by on about a gallon a day. Hang on. Some of these rocks here, not all of them, some of them are maybe lava bombs. It's hard to see here in the dark. There's just a lot of lava bombs. Looks like one of them been broke. Here, probably running our machines around here. Slightly comping me on these trips, these forays. Things are starting to green up a little bit again, even though it's already fall. All summer long, everything looked like it was going to die. This mud here is pretty rough. I'm walking through. So, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I want to show you, just to kind of status where I'm at. People get curious. Rainwater collection has begun. Garden is on its way. And so are chickens. With that, I'm going to say, I got plenty of firewood out here. Got my wood stove in my house. So, with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. And happy, hearty Greg out.